Hey guys, how's it going? Just doing a quick update on what Nay and I have been up to in the last couple or a few weeks since that ramble ride, and also just a bit of a debrief, I suppose, on that ride. I mean, that was the first time that me and Nay have ever put on a ride like that. So all in all, I mean, it was a really good ride. Nay and I both thoroughly enjoyed it. All the guys were great, and I believe they all had a good time as well. Some of the things that I learned was, if you're going to do a direction thing, make sure you get your directions right. Because I did obviously take a couple of bloody wrong turns along the way and sent us out down some bloody farm tracks in the wrong direction. But that's all part and parcel, and that's part of the adventure. You've always got to have something bloody going wrong or whatever. I think that adds to the adventure side of it. But I suppose because we've liked it so well, and I believe it's a really good track. We'd like to go out and actually go through it, do it properly, check where those mistakes are, and maybe shorten a bit, because I think there was too much of the tracks in the allotted time. And I suppose I didn't realise that, because when I was finding all these tracks, I'd go out one day and then I'd do a little bit, and then I'd come home, and then a day later or a couple of days later I'd go out and do a little bit more. So, and then I didn't go back and do the full circuit in one hit, so I didn't really have a good understanding of how long it would take to get through it all. So there was quite a lot of tracks, and really good tracks, that we didn't get to go on. So maybe I need, or Nay and I have actually just discussed this, and we're going to go back out and make sure we find all the mistakes, fix those, and maybe shorten some of the areas to make it a little bit quicker getting up to Melville Caves. Anyway, we most probably will put on another ride or something like that. And obviously, while we did this ride for the first time, it was seeing how the Jeep and the setup in the Jeep, and also the setup on the trailer, was going to work, and if we could improve on it. And we found lots of things that we can improve with doing that, just to make things quicker and easier. Because when you're out there, and Nay's been in the bloody Jeep all day, and I've been on the bike, and when you pull up, you don't want to be stuffing around. Makes it a lot more hard. So the quicker you can make things, the bloody better. The more enjoyable, it all becomes. So what I'm going to do in this is show you some of the modifications that I've done, or that me and Nay have done. Some of the bloody things Nay's come up with, brilliant bloody ideas. The first thing is the water tanks on the back. I'm going to bring it in closer just so you can see what I'm talking about. So the thing with these little bloody 20 litre drums, I had just that. You see them, they're bloody common as dog shit. That screws in there. Now what happens is, when you screw this in, this will only go a certain way and it ends somewhere, so if you over tighten it, it just flips around. So normally what you'll find is you have to loosen it a little bit to bring it back so that the spout is pointing where you want it. But the problem with this is the way that you screw it in is the same way that you actually turn this bloody knob. So you'd have to be holding this and turning that, and it was a real pain in the arse. It was just stupid. I've looked on bloody forums, and there's so many ways that you can do it. Siphon ways, there's bloody suction ways, there's bloody electric pump ways, and it just, I'm always like to keep things really, really simple. I think the simple always works the best. Less problems that you can have. So anyway, we decided that we'd go with a metal tap. So we've put this little metal tap on there, and it's a quarter turn tap. It has a really long thread on there, so that just threads straight in. But the best thing with it is that when you turn that, it turns not this way. It turns, so it's not going to do any pressure on this. So, whoa, that's it. Simple as. I haven't tested this for out on the road. I mean, I think this tap should actually do better than this tap. And then we've got these little carabiners, which will lock that. So it can't, when we're driving along, it can't rattle and accidentally lose all our bloody water in the middle of fucking nowhere. Alright, so that was that, and obviously I can still pull this drum out without having to take that, that tap off. Cool, alright, show you the next bit. Okay, so the next thing that we thought was having to pull out the bloody tables and screw legs onto them and set them all up took a little bit of bloody time. So we thought, why couldn't we get some boards and have it so that it attaches to the trailer? And this is what I came up with. So I just went to Bunnings. Got a big piece of board. It's one of those ones where it's the separate pieces of pine and then they're all glued together. So I've got that cut at the size, cut out the jerry where the jerry can goes. Obviously I've made it bloody pretty. But yeah, got some metal straps, or metal bloody whatever you want to call that. So that gives all the wood stability, but it also makes a lever thing for where it's going to sit. I'll show you how that works now. There you go. One instant bloody table. Just for putting all the bits and pieces. Like when we stopped for lunch and we just laid out the rolls and the tomato and the lettuce and all that kind of stuff and the margarine, and people could just come along, grab the thing, butter up, put their ham or chicken in, and away they go. So that was really good. Then Nay came up with a great idea. I'll tell you about all this in a minute, but once we did this, Nay went, why don't you do this? Hey presto, this could be a bloody table. So we went, righto, let's make up another board. Same deal, made it all pretty. The only thing on here, we just made a couple of little notches and we put some bolts in on that ramp where it's not going to affect anything. Basically, this goes on here. Oop, wrong way. Locks in there. That's it. There you go. That's bloody on there solid. So now we've got even more bloody bench space. And again, it's just simple. Put the stove up here or whatever. We can even hang the tea towels. I don't know if you can't see that. I'll just turn that around. And there you can see it's even got the little red things to say don't bump into it. Yeah, so bloody simple as. And of course we're doing it so that everything's gonna fit in the trailer, really nice and easy. Pull it over. I just use a no, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let's get rid of this stuff. So the next thing I did was we went out and we bought a big bloody toolbox from, where did we get that from? I think we got that from Super Cheap Auto. Just, you can find it bloody anywhere. And we've bolted it just from there. We've put 4 bolts straight through and into it. There's nothing holding it on the bottom there, but it's not gonna move, especially if you've got a new weight in there. So of course we wanted to have the ramp. So the ramp is now bolted. I'll bring it over and I'll show you. So what I did was I put a bolt through there and I've nutted that bolt onto there. So this whole nut thing is bolted hard to that. I drilled a couple of holes, 4 holes into the ramp where it's not going to worry it. And so now this is attached to the toolbox with those wing nut things. So that holds that on there. You can take it off, use it, and then just whack it back on. Pretty bloody simple. I'll just open up this so you can see what's in it. There is a design flaw to this, and that's if we have anything in that immediate area that's up high, obviously we're not going to be able to open this up fully, so I just got to be wary of that. But yeah, so in there, if you can see that, yep, you can. I've just put some of that rubber matting stuff in there just to line it, just so it doesn't bloody make a lot of noise or whatever. I put some strengthening bars, obviously, wherever I drilled holes through this, because this is pretty thin stuff. And to stop the dust from getting in and the rain, as much as I possibly can, we just went to Bunnings and got weather stripping, and it's just the double-sided stuff, the sticky stuff, and put that on there. And I reckon that should do a pretty bloody good job. So another thing, this bloody awning, when we were on the ride, that just worked so easy. It was so simple to it took no time to put it up. We really thought that was a bloody ripper thing. This one is 2 meters wide, and it stretches out 2.5 meters. And it's just a ripper. You just bloody pull it out, pull down the legs, pull down the side bits, and if it's not a windy day or it's not windy, you don't even have to, peg it down or anything. It just sits there all by itself. So that was a real bloody, a real time saver. We had a tarp as well that we put up, and we had it over one of the picnic benches. And while the tarp's good, and we had the poles for it, but if you've ever tried putting bloody tarps up and stuff, they can, putting poles up here and trying to drive bloody pegs into hard dirt and shit like that was real, it was, sometimes I make things out to be either too easy or too bloody hard. We thought we could do it better by having, mounting a tarp thing with the trailer, and I'll bring you around and I'll show you what we decided to do. So the idea was set up some type of poles or whatever and a I don't know, big stick or whatever, and then have the tarp come off that. But then we thought, with that other awning thing that we had on the four-wheel drive, it was that bloody cheap to buy. Why try and reinvent the friggin' wheel? Use the thing that you reckon works bloody great. So we've bought another one of those, and it's like $179. That's bugger all money for what you get out of it. So what we've done is I've welded 2 pieces here. I'll bring you down to see that. So you can see there, I've just put 2, there's a gowel, or what do you call that, bloody square tubing. Don't look at me welding because it's bloody absolute shit. I'm still learning how to weld, but it's on there. I've put a bolt down the bottom, which means when the tube goes through, which you'll see in a minute, we'll stop that going all the way through. Okay, so I've got one there, and I've got another one over here. And basically, I've just got 2 aluminium square pieces. Just drop straight into these. Like that. And basically with that awning we're going to make up another bracket out of the same stuff, like it's a solid piece, and I'll screw the gowel pipe to the awning, and then what we'll do is grab the awning and it will basically sit over this, and then we'll be able to just operate that the same as that we had on the Jeep. That's the idea. We're waiting on the awning to turn up. It should be here pretty shortly, hopefully. I think that's really about it. Oh, the other thing is the back of the Jeep. I've decided to make that wooden stuff. I'll show you that as well. Yeah, so if we're in the back, I don't know if you remember, I had that wooden stuff made up where I just kind of like made it so that I could put things in there and they'd have their own little spot and they'd basically stay in there. My idea was that if that worked, I could then make it out of the aluminium piping, which is this stuff. When we started working it out, we were thinking, the wood stuff worked really well. It did the job. Did we really need to do it? But a lot of this stuff that we do, it's not done out of bloody necessity. It's entertainment for me and Nay. Just working stuff out. For stuff to suit us, you could nearly say that we're turning this bloody garden trailer into a camper van or a camper trailer. But this is very specific to our needs. So whether we're doing a group ride, or me and Nay have thought about getting the other little postie bike up and going and get it registered, and we can chuck the 2 postie bikes on, and I don't know, we might bloody head anywhere closer. We might even, drive up to the Flinders Ranges and pull up at Rawnsley Park, stay there a couple of days and spend those days riding around on the postie bikes. So none of this is really a necessity, it's just more of entertainment. I mean, it comes into use, but yeah. So anyway, look guys, that's what we've been up to, and obviously we're always trying to do bloody things on a budget, cheap as we possibly can, because that leaves us more money to have fun with. Not that this isn't fun. Alright, I've dribbled on long enough. I've got Charlie, I've got to fix up his the switch with the blinkers and the horn, that whole mounting's a bit dodgy. So I've got a video of, I've bought an actual new thing, I've got to do that. We've got a few other things I've got to bloody do. So anyway, that was just a quick an update. Alright guys, keep on riding. Oh guys, I nearly bloody forgot. Another thing that we're doing is these mud flaps. I mean, that's the only mud flap that this bloody Jeep has on here. So I'll show you the trailer. You've most probably already seen it in the footage where all the trailer got peppered. So as you can see, I mean, the trailer has just got an absolute... So just those 2 days out on those tracks, that trailer's been really badly peppered. I mean, it's only just paint chips, and on the trailer mud guard, and then a little bit up on there as well. Yeah, so because those mud flaps are just absolutely useless, and more so for the fact that that it's been raised up as well, so that you can see, like, the stone's flicking up. I've got nowhere to go but basically out, which was really handy. That we put this thing on. So I reckon that could have very well saved that windscreen, because yeah, it got a bloody hammering with those rocks. So I'll show you the idea. We're not 100% sure what we're doing, but I'll show you our idea anyway. So our idea to stop that bloody peppering on that trailer, and also the bloody flicking up and stuff, went out and got some 4-wheel drive mud flaps, so they're just the bigger ones. Instead of just putting that in replace of that one, which would work a whole lot better, but there's a lot of area there, so we're going to put a whole heap together. I've actually got 4. I reckon I'm going to need another set, and basically they'll come out like that, and then they'll all be filled up all the way along. So I'll attach these to maybe box tubing like that or something. Like I said, I haven't worked it out yet. Might even be just metal stripping. And then I'll set up something on here where I can have bolts coming through, and that'll be locked on there, and it'll stay there permanently. But I'll be able to attach that box tubing with these mud flaps, so that when we're going to go off-road, on a trip or something, I can grab that and whack it on there. But for just, cruising around bloody town and doing that stuff, I don't have to have that big bloody ugly looking thing on there. Anyway, thought I'd better mention that as well, because you would have seen that peppering and thought, what the hell's that? Isn't that right, Perks? She loves driving around in the Jeep. Alright guys, keep on riding. Come on. Oh, buddy. There we go.